for 50. And I'm very proud to have been here for over 10 years myself. Kathy, would you like to introduce yourself before I continue with the slides?
Sure. Thank you, Lisa. Hi, everyone. I'm glad you took time out of your busy schedule to join us this morning. I'm Kathy Eckles. I'm the Small Business Program Manager with Abt Associates. I've been with Abt for 27 years, the last 10 years with Lisa as the Small Business Program Manager.
Great, thank you. I'm very, very excited to be here this morning, and I'm hopeful that the information that we provide to you all will be helpful and in aiding you to engage with us more directly. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the company itself, how we manage our procurement practices, and then Kathy will be going through more detail regarding our small business program in general. Again, I want to thank you all for being here and for your interest in our company. I'm very proud to work here, and it makes me incredibly confident and happy that we're able to develop these relationships with our small business community. So Joanne, if you want to go ahead and continue to the next slide. A little bit about Abt. I'm going to share with you quite a bit actually over the next few slides, but in general, Abt thinks boldly, crossing disciplines and methods and geographies to provide research, consulting, and technical services globally in the areas of health, environmental and social policy, technology, and international development. We are currently, by the way, working in more than 50 countries around the world. All right, next. I like to call this by the numbers. There's a lot of information on this data sheet here, but take a minute if you would and take a look at it while I kind of talk through a little bit of it. Abt considers itself an engine for social impact dedicated to moving people from vulnerability to security. We like to harness the power of data and use our experts who are grounded insights. We provide research, consulting, and technical services globally in the area of health, environmental, and social policy, technology, and international development, as I had said a moment ago. You see there where I mentioned that we're currently working in more than 50 countries. We have over 250 active clients at any one time. And one of the items I would like to emphasize there is in great big green letters, we have 3,100 partners. That's a lot of companies if you think about it, but at any given time, over the course of a year, we are actively engaging with many, many partners. And certainly the small business community is very important to us. You see there are 8 key focus areas and our 6 cross-cutting, core capabilities. Take a look at those because, again, this is very important to us so that you can understand the types of work that we do and the nature of the companies with whom we'd like to engage. So again, we appreciate your being here with us today. Okay, go ahead to the next slide. Abt has been managing its procurements, I think, and I think it's relationship oriented. In as much as there's an organizational need or a need under one of our programs and projects, the procurement aspect of it is central to how we begin our practice there. And certainly one of the most important aspects of it is sourcing and having available our small business and partners and other supply base is super important in being able to make sure that we source the best entities for the needs at that time. So we look at this, and to me, it's kind of a circuitous process where we're looking at the communities in which we work. Who are our customers? What does the market competition look like? And how do we maintain our sustainable supply base? So what that does, though, is drive it to the procurement itself. We have our suppliers and our stakeholders. And so all of that said, it's really a continuum of opportunity for you as our potential small business partners. And so, there are many available competency areas and geographic locations in which we're actively looking all the time. We do buy some commodities, but not the bulk of our work is in the area of professional services. So having complementary professional services to those that you saw on that previous slide will help us, and being able to put those relationships together is key in our being able to effectively deliver the services that we provide to our clients. So it is this continuum on it. I'm very proud of how we've been managing this. Kathy's going to share with you in a little bit some of the more specifics in regards to the goals that we've achieved and some of the specific awards that we've gotten and that type of thing for our small business program. So my wording to you here is to say that we don't just talk the talk, we absolutely walk the walk as well. Next, please. Our organization is primarily focused in 4 division areas, and I wanted to take a minute to walk through these. This will help you to understand the structure of the services that we provide to our clients. The first here is the Data Science Surveys and Enabling Technologies division. The mission there is to help people understand and improve their world through information and insights. What does that mean? Basically, that's our research and survey arm of our company. So we employ a plethora of survey workers when we're engaged to do surveys for like the presidential elections, or surveys in child health care or education. And they take the information that's gleaned from those surveys and put it into a context to help be able to provide insights to those clients who have engaged us to understand the responses that are provided to them. That helps them to be able to operationalize their plans. So it's a very interesting area, and it's very different in the sense that use of surveys and so forth is still such an integral part of how we gather information from the communities in which they're interested. So that's the first, that is our DSET area. And they're very heavily utilize the technology to be able to synthesize information that, as I mentioned, is gathered during those surveys, and provide that back in the way of reports or other data sets that help our clients to be able to make decisions, or also to be able to portray the results in a manner that makes the most sense in that particular circumstance. The next is our Health and Environment division. And this division is incredibly active right now. It's the administration, the current administration has a huge focus, as well as if you think about the pandemic. So this area of our company focuses on evidence-driven solutions that contribute to a healthier environment and the health and safety of individuals, families, and communities. So it's really 2 different segments of work there. Even though that they do mesh with each other very nicely, the environmental aspect of it looks at, for example, natural resource disasters and water cleanliness and carbon emissions and greenhouse gases and those types of things. So we do a lot of work for the EPA. We do a lot of work for NOAA. And so those are 2 of the areas, 2 of the client sets there where we are actually doing an enormous amount of work and understanding our environment. And then, ultimately, how does that impact people in our communities and people around the world? So there is still that aspect of things that make it both domestic and internationally focused. The other aspect of it is the health and safety of individuals, families, and communities. And what that entails is really, I'll give you a few examples. We're doing an enormous amount of COVID research for CDC. CDC is one of our largest clients and has been even prior to the pandemic. So in that space, well, the work that we've been doing from the CDC is also focused on the opioid epidemic. It's focused on Zika when it was problematic. And it's still, of course, that's located in certain regions around the world. And if you think about HIV/AIDS studies and those sorts of things as well, that's been a very, very busy area for us, and even more so here over the past several years now, actually. So those are 2 of the examples of that particular aspect of our division's work. The next is our International Development Division. And the primary focus there is with our client USAID, as well as some of the others who function in a similar manner, but in finding solutions for ever-growing list of complex challenges. So if you think about health challenges and international economic growth and development and food and nutrition services and in communities around the world, we have an enormous program that's focused on helping to eradicate malaria in villages throughout Africa. And another program that's focused on helping farmers, for example, being able to bring to market the products and that they make and that they grow, and how they can better help to support their communities. We are also very active in the health arena around the world as well, especially in looking at maternal and neonatal child care. We partner with local doctors and looking at family planning. And so it's an enormous amount of challenges that we are focused on. But the goal there is to help to better the people's lives throughout the world. And we've been a partner, implementing partner to USAID as golly days for more than 30 years now. That's been one of our primary clients, and probably one of our biggest areas from a financial perspective in regards to revenue for our company as well. The next area is our social and economic policy division, and this is domestically focused here, and our SEP, as we call it, division helps to shape public policies benefiting millions of Americans through research and technical assistance aimed at improving the efficiency and effectiveness of our government programs. Some of the examples here are focused on Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, Social Security Administration, SAMHSA, let's see, who else? We have a lot with Department of Education, Department of Labor, Food and Nutrition Services. And what these are all doing, again, is they're looking at studies, they're looking at child welfare, at education on early learning, child care in homes. So again, it's very focused on research. And the work that is done, a lot of it actually goes to Congress, and that's the part that is really public policy focused. In helping to shape the public policies. Who gets Medicare and Medicaid services, and how are food stamps and that type of thing utilized throughout the United States. Looking at with the Department of Education, early learning, literacy. Child nutrition in schools. So if you think about all of those sorts of things that you hear about in the news and the arenas where there's laws being passed and so forth, that is information that's gained through the research and the survey work, which is partnered with our DSET division in putting together this information and these reports and providing them to our domestic US clients. So that's an overview of that aspect of our work there. Okay, pause. Joanne, go ahead, please.
Are there any questions? If you have any questions right now, feel free to put them in the Q&A function, and we will address any that come up. And I'll just give about 30 seconds or so.
I also wanted to add at the end of the program, certainly any questions that are come up afterwards, you all will have the slides, which at the end of the end of the slide deck have Kathy's email address, and she would be your best point of contact. She's actually tremendously helpful and can answer any questions as well. So feel free to reach out in writing later on also if there's no immediate questions right now.
Okay, so it looks like there are no questions. Okay, here's one. As a certified supplier with expertise in public policy and economic policy in many of the areas you have identified, how do we follow up?
Okay, that's a great question. The short answer is please get in touch with Kathy Eckles. Kathy has a wonderful ability of knowing in our company who the right people are and the decision makers. It's not just you're going to fill out a form and becoming a registrant in our partner registry is super important. But Kathy's actually able to put you in direct contact with the people within the division that would be most interested in your offering in that case. So definitely reach out to Kathy.
I think that's it for our open questions. So, oh, here's another one. Can you mention how you walk the walk?
Oh, sure. And that's going to be part of what Kathy's going to show you is some of the more specifics in the way of data. She talks about, she's going to be talking about the dollars and the percentages of all of the different things, some of the awards that we've gotten and that type of thing. I will give you another specific example. Just last week, we had Abt's 7th annual Matchmaker event where we have actually had, in the past, it was virtual this time, but in the past it was in person. We would have invited companies to come in, all facets of the small business community to come in and sit down and meet directly with the business decision makers. And that was an almost full day event in the past. And it was this time as well. It went till like from 8 o'clock till 2 o'clock. And you can have that direct access to speak directly to the people who are driving the needs within our company. So, we absolutely actively have a small business program that is incredibly active. Besides participating in many organizations and matchmaker events, we make ourselves available to talk to you all and to make sure that we make the connections within our company. And again, Kathy will go into that a little bit more. So I hope that that's a couple of helpful examples for you to answer that specific question.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. So I think that's it for our questions. So for everyone else, there will be an opportunity after Kathy presents for more Q&A. So definitely save your questions and pop them into the function there so we can address them. And then I will turn it over to Kathy now.
Not quite.
Oh, not quite. Sorry. Okay.
No problem. A couple of I'll go very quickly through the next couple of slides. So if you can go ahead and change, that'd be great. Thanks, Joanne. So just to give you an example, in this past fiscal year for Abt, we spent $133 million on subcontractors, consultants, and yes, some government property. And that represents 25% of our gross revenue and 34% of our total direct costs. So I think this is another example, though, of the commitment that we've made we do outsource a lot. We look for companies who have complementary skills, who have core competencies that even in some cases that we don't have because it's part of an offering to one of our clients. So I think $133 million in 1 year is a pretty good amount of spend. And a significant part of that does go to all aspects of our small business and small disadvantaged business partners. Being effective in our procurement does help lower our costs. It helps to emphasize the quality of our services by being able to bring to the table as well some of our excellent small business partners. It helps us to win new business. It helps to improve the bottom line. In short, we rely on a lot of companies such as yours to be able to bring things to the table that we don't have. We can't do everything. We don't do everything, and we don't profess to do that. But we do need to have good, high quality, excellent partners who want to work with us, to be able to help shine, to bring execute with excellence is what we call it. Our partnerships with you are super important. Joanne, go ahead, please. Just a quick, statement here regarding, we do work with, and that's what I was trying to say before, with a diverse set of suppliers, creating a competitive advantage for Abt and the small businesses by giving a different perspective, by providing those solutions. So, it is through our small business program that most all of our small business entities come in and join us. again, it is a benefit to both. It's a learning experience for both. We're able to share knowledge with our small business community. We have relationships that began with many companies, small businesses, and that have, they have developed over the years to be so key to us. Many of whom actually have go on to become direct partners to some of our clients in those cases. So there's so many benefits from the relationships that we develop with you all. And I want to make sure that we're continuing to make sure that we have the access available to you, that we have these relationships. So I'm going to just stop right there. And I want to make sure that we have an opportunity for Kathy to talk a little bit more about how we do walk the walk. So Joanne, if you want to change slides, and Kathy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Lisa. And thank you, Joanne, for having us today. And as she said, what?
One quick thing I do want to mention, I do unfortunately have a drop-off point in about 10 minutes or so, 5 or 10 minutes. So Kathy's going to continue with you, and she'll be available to answer questions for you at the end. And I personally, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to join us today. I know that your time is very valuable. So again, many thanks, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you. Kathy, I promise I won't interrupt you again.
That's okay. Interrupt anytime. Thank you, everyone, again. And thank you, Lisa, for that introduction. As she said, we do walk the walk and talk the talk. And these are the highlights. Actually, these are from October. We don't have the numbers yet for April, but company-wide, we awarded to small businesses 34.8% of our subcontracts. Abt's small business goal was 28.2, and that was achieved and surpassed by the 6.6 to 34.8. We awarded $173 million out of 496 awarded to subcontractors. Our goal for large and small businesses totally increased 54 million to a goal of 1.5 billion for the first time in Abt's history. As Lisa just said, we do subcontract out quite a bit. We achieved and exceeded our small business goals for the 6th time in the last 10 years. In the last 5 years, it increased 4.7, and in the last 10, it was 11.1. Excuse me, the performance was highest in the use of small disadvantaged businesses at 11.4, and it was 10% for women-owned businesses. And that's double the 5% goal that the federal government has established for all SDBs and WSBs, for all agencies that contract with the federal government. There's also a 3% goal for HUB-zone veterans and service-disabled veterans. We report on 188 projects to 24 different agencies on 56 subplans. As Lisa said before, our biggest clients, USAID, HHS, EPA, HUD, Labor, and SSA, but again, we report to 24 different agencies, or we have contracts with 24 different agencies. Joanne, next slide, please. This is a 3-year small business performance presentation for our small SDB and women-owned small businesses. As you can see by the percentages, we increased small business usage by 44 million for small business, SDB by 20 million, and the women-owned small business by 9 million in the last 2 years. Next slide, please. Our small business program ratings. We have had 5 SBA compliance reviews since 2013, and our last was in 2017. In 2013 and 14, we achieved a satisfactory rating, but we weren't satisfied with that. That wasn't good enough for us. So we worked very hard to achieve the next highest rating, which was highly successful in 2015 and 2016. And then the reviews are very extensive. There's 10 different areas that they check or they review our program. It includes sourcing, validation of the ISR reporting, 5-year trend analysis, management support of the program, training, assistance provided to small businesses, success stories, subcontracting plan goal analysis, subcontracts to large businesses, and outreach. And in 2017, SBA adopted the Department of Defense rating criteria, and Abt was rated very good. I don't understand we haven't been rated, we haven't been reviewed since then. So apparently they're very happy with our program. As Lisa said, as Lisa talked about our outreach in our Matchmaker, we usually do 15 events per year. That's not us doing in person. That's our small business program includes going or attending 15 different events, at least 15 a year. And as part of our outreach, like she said, we hold a Matchmaker. And in 2019, we had 107 small businesses in Rockville. That's been the highest that we've ever had before. And the COVID, obviously in 2020, it was canceled due to COVID, just like everybody else's traveling was canceled. And as she said, on June 23rd, last Wednesday, we had the very first virtual Matchmaker. And we had 65 companies and 98 participants. And it was a huge success with the small businesses because they actually, like she said, got to speak with our decision makers one-on-one. We had 20 practices, and they each had 15-minute meetings with them. And so far, the feedback has been phenomenal. And we held our breath because this is the first virtual event that we've done. So thankfully, it was a good one. Next slide, please. Lisa also mentioned our partner registry. This is our primary source used by Abt, including project management, business development, and contract staff when seeking partners. The completion of the registry profile requires that you provide basic information about your company. It may include more details on the types of services you offer and the clients you serve. It's a place to showcase your best projects. Your capability statements are fine, and we really appreciate you sending them to us. That and a profile on the partner registry is the next step to getting to meet with our project directors. What I do with the partner registry, I'll go in there and pull up your profile. And as I said, you can put so much information in there. And when you do fill out the partner registry, please fill out all the information, because that's where I go first. I don't have time to do Google searches of 2,000 companies. I go to the companies that we've already met. I have a database of all the companies that we've been to or talked to, and they're all in my database. And then I have the partner registry, and I encourage everyone I talk to put their profile in there, because I send that and your capability statements to project directors when they ask me for they need a small business. And if I have that information, you are right in front of their face when it comes time for them to pick partners for our contracts. And the more information you provide, the better we can assess your full range of skills and expertise when seeking partners in the future. The partner registry website or link is right there on the screen. I encourage, if you haven't done already, and even if you have done, if you've done it 5 years ago, because we've been partnering with the GNE for, oh my goodness, since 2013 with our matchmakers. They actually help us do all the scheduling and the invitations. They have been a tremendous help to us. And again, please send me your email with your capability statement, if you and an updated one if you've been with us for a long time. And like I said, I keep every one of them. I have all your cards and I have all your capability statements of everybody that I've met. We actually participate with the Greater New England Council every year in as many events as we can, and we always do their matchmaker and their conference. But again, please send me a CAPE statement and also go into our partner registry. Next slide, please. Now, on being a good subcontractor, you need to understand the value of having knowledgeable business people within your organization who understand in-country registrations. That's because of our international component, taxes, payroll, banking, IT, and contracts. We understand what you are signing up for, terms and conditions, reporting requirements, clarity in the statement of work. Communication is critical. Please ask questions when you begin teaming discussions. The more questions, the better, because we want you to have a good working knowledge of what we expect from you. Be receptive to feedback. Talk to your clients regularly. Ask for debriefs when you win and when you are not successful. and be in constant learning mode, because our company takes a vital interest in our small businesses that we hire and use on our contracts. We've helped small businesses grow their financial and administrative skills. We help them with their technical work. We do all kinds. We do basically a mentor protege, even though it's not a formal one. We do a mentor protege with every small business that we use, because we know how vital small businesses are to our contracts and our winning more awards. Actually, as a federal contractor, small businesses is one criteria that they do use on their performance ratings. If our small business utilization is not good on our contracts, on our current contracts, that's called past performance, and they use that to rate us, to give us any new awards. So it is a vital part of our company that the small businesses do well. Next slide, please. This is our contact information. Val couldn't be here today. He wanted to, but he had a previous engagement. He's our Senior Director of Procurement. Lisa, you met Lisa. She's our Vice President of Contracts and Procurement, and that's my email address and my phone number. And please, again, send me your capability statements and get on our partner registry. That's the best way to get into Abt Associates, to become available for contract work. And what we do is we are putting teams together now for next year. We don't, when the RFPs hit, we can't, in 30 days, we cannot pull everything together and get everything organized. I mean, we do when we have to, but we prefer not to, because we like to have our ducks in a row before we even come into the RFPs. When the announcements come out that they're bids, we start immediately. We determine which ones we're going to bid on, and then we start finding the small businesses that we're going to need. So I hope this was informational for everyone. And again, please get in contact with me. Now, if I don't answer you too quickly in the next 2 weeks, it's because I'm going on vacation tomorrow till the 18th. I will answer I may answer slowly, but I will answer each and every one of your emails. And next slide. And it's a big thank you to all of you who participated today. We so enjoy it. And like Lisa said, we are very, very involved with the small businesses. They are a vital part of our contract management. And I just want to thank you all for taking your time today, because I know how busy we are. So I can imagine you are just as busy. And are there any questions?
Okay, so thank you so much, Kathy. Let's see, we have one question so far. So how does a prospective vendor supplier get included or added to an Abt Associates Matchmaker event?
Send me your capability statement. Everybody that I get a statement from, and we've met, and it's including these, these type of webinar programs that we do. Everybody that sends me a capability statement goes on my database, and then that is the invitation list for the Matchmaker. I sent out 926 invitations for my Matchmaker last week, or well, for the one last week. So everybody that's on my list, and you get on my list by sending me your CAPE statements.
Thank you. Okay, so then do you get project requests for diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting or training? Absolutely,
all the time. Yes.
And what are you looking for in projects on the registry?
Oh dear. We have 326 different projects. If you've been on our website, you've seen how involved we are in everything. Well, you saw Lisa go through the different divisions. We are so, the only way I can describe it is we are so into everything. We're in environment and education and social policy, health, all different types of health. Like on that slide number 4, you see all the practices we have, and equity and diverse. Hello. Equity is one of our main focuses right now. Abt was awarded the EDGE certification. Don't know if you're familiar with that, because our company is so diverse, and we've been awarded that certification because we are a diverse company, and we are very involved in social inclusion and diversity and equity. If you go on our website, there's a whole I don't know if it's paid, there's a whole article about it. So yes, the answer is yes, we are very involved.
Great. Okay, so another question here. Can you provide the advantage of the HubZone certification?
The HubZone certification, let me tell you about the HubZone program. There's only 4,000 companies throughout the country that are certified HubZones. The government has tasked us, the prime contracts and the agencies, with a 3% goal for all the HubZones, for usage, small business utilization of HubZones. When we get a HubZone, we hold on to them because these HubZones have to be used on all the prime contracts that come out of the federal government over $750,000. There's a HubZone category of 3%, along with the service disabled vets and the veterans. And we have to hit those goals. And if the primes don't hit the goals, the agencies don't hit their goals. And I hate to admit this, but as Abt has only reached that goal, we've never reached the 3%. We've only hit 1.6%. Because again, there's 4,000 companies. So if you're a HubZone certified company, you are golden to a prime contractor, because we all are required to hit those goals. Even the government hasn't hit the 3% HubZone. But again, I advise anybody that has the opportunity to be certified as a HubZone and you want to do federal contracting, get your HubZone certification. It's a process, and I know, but they've shortened it, thank goodness, because it was such a long process. So many companies, I heard from so many HubZone available companies that they said, I don't want to go through that. But they've shortened the certification process, and I would advise, I can't tell you, but I would advise anyone that has HubZone eligibility to go for it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions? We have about 20 minutes left. There's always the option to end early and get 20 minutes back in your day. Oh, okay, here we go. Do you prefer MBE certified firms?
We prefer them, yes, absolutely. Especially on our state contracts. We are told when we also do state. We don't just do federal, we do state, we do foundations, we universities, we do grants, we do all kinds of contracts, agreements, and subcontracts. And MBEs are vital to the state contracts because there's a percentage. You have to have an MBE on just about every one that I've seen so far. We subcontract with quite a few states. I can't list them all, but I do know Massachusetts and New York. I know we have quite a few in New York and Massachusetts, and they actually put on the RFP, you must use an MBE for this portion of the contract, a percentage of the contract. So we include everybody, MBEs, DBEs, SBEs, WBEs, all of them, everybody that we do look for the minorities, and we use everybody. Seriously, we're very diverse, and we use everybody that's qualified and wants to work with us. It doesn't matter. We use all types of businesses.
Great. Do you partner with staffing agencies?
Yes, and that especially when our health contracts, they require doctors or nurses, or the quality of the contracts drives what we need to who we need to, and what category we need to hire. So yes, we use staffing agencies. We also use staffing agencies in our company for temporary employees. We use not just on our federal contracts, but in our company, even in our company as a separate entity, we also use staffing agencies. So yes, I usually send, particularly staffing agencies, I send them right to our HR department and say, here, try these people, this, and then I send your capability statement and say, this is a good company. I think you should, we've talked to them, we're familiar with them. We'd appreciate if, I'd say I appreciate if you just at least talk to them. So.
Great. This one might be a little bit too specific. It might be something that requires just follow up later on. But the question is, there doesn't seem to be a skill to select for DEI. Could it possibly be under corporate social responsibility?
I'll have to check that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to have somebody more knowledgeable than I about that topic.
Okay, so I'll make a note and then we can make sure to circle back.
Please do that.
Okay, so the last call for questions. If there are any, please ask them now. And if you're furiously typing, I'll wait another minute or so. And then from there, as I mentioned, we will be sharing the presentation to all attendees. And if there are, any things that you missed or you need to rehear, we will be putting this video up on our YouTube page. So it will be available.
And if you have any questions, send me an email. My email's on the last slide. Second last slide. This is the thank you slide.
Okay, so I think that is it for our questions. Kathy, thank you so much for your time today, and Lisa as well. You've provided so much knowledge about working with Abt Associates, and as always, you're a pleasure to work with. So thank you again for presenting today, and to everyone who is on, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you being here, and I will be sending out the presentation in the next hour or so.
You are very welcome, Joanne. Thank you so much for inviting us. We love these things. We love to interact with the small businesses and get out the information. Abt is small business friendly. And thank you for all the work that you've done on our past matchmakers. Oh my goodness. I finally got a taste of what you go through putting them together. Wow.
All right, so thank you so much, everyone. Thank you again for attending and have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.